hardest you ever heard. Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Bass make my face hurt. Shake break my framework when the bass jerk like quick earth. Oh my God. Just like that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday night of Xtream Blue. I am your host, Big Blue Ant, as always. We're going to talk about some stuff tonight. Talk about a little bit about Saquon. Talk a little bit about this offensive line. I do not want to get into the Travis Kelce thing. He's not a Giant. I could care less either way. Got a couple people in here right now. We got Jaden's in here. Daryl's in here. I got a Facebook user. I'm assuming that's you, Vince. Let me know if it's you. Whoever the Facebook user is, just put your name in there because, again, it's not showing who you are. It says, hey, what's up, Ant? Daryl, I will be sending an invite out in 1 second, buddy. So I haven't really heard too much on the Giants front. I know I watched the interview with Brian Daboll. I should have watched the Adoree Jackson interview, but if I'm being honest, I'm disgusted with him. You know, this many years in the league, and he still doesn't know how to wrap somebody up when he tackles them. Xavier McKinney, his comments this week were not pleasing to me and probably most fans. But again, you know, we don't know what the coaches are allowing these guys to talk about. Everything's up in the air. We're also going to talk about how everybody feels about Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones has been getting a lot of hate. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little aggravated. But again, like always, our offensive line is abysmal. It's been better in the last couple of weeks, but not great. And again, the question goes back to, especially with the Daniel Jones, and I got a feeling we're going to be talking a lot about Daniel Jones tonight. My thing with Daniel Jones is how long do we hold on for? Because a lot of people in here know that I normally don't jump in right away, especially considering I wasn't a big fan at first. I normally like to sit back, but I mean, I see a lot from him that he still hasn't adjusted to. He's gotten better at, but he hasn't completed the adjustment. For instance, he does stare down his receivers a lot. Not a whole lot, but a lot more than I'd like him to. There was a couple plays. In fact, I believe Sunday night they showed one of the times where he went through his progressions before he actually threw the ball. That I like to see. But again, I don't see him doing that every down. And this is one of the issues he's had since he's been a rookie. Could it have something to do with the fact that he's not getting time? Yeah, maybe. Again, I still think he lacks the confidence in himself to know when a play is not developing to run, just take off. I don't see it. I don't. I'm a little hesitant. And again, I'm trying to believe in Daniel Jones. I really am. He's our quarterback, at least for this year and next year. So I'm going to root for this kid no matter what. What happens after year 2, it's up to the coaches and the organization. You know, again, people keep going back to the pick. I at number 6, I didn't like it. At number 16, where I thought we could have gotten him at, I would have been okay with it there. But 6, and again, at that time, we needed different spots. There's also reports out there and rumors out there that the reason Kayvon Thibodeau isn't doing Kayvon Thibodeau things is because of the way Wink is scheming things. Now, again, could that have something to do with it? Yeah. But when I look at the technique of when he does push up the field, because let's face facts here, regardless of what the scheme is, unless he's taking on a running back or following a wide receiver or tight end, unless it's a situation like that, when he has to get to the quarterback, the fact remains what it's been. Get the quarterback. And if you watch when he's going for the quarterback, he gets pushed to the outside a lot. So much that he has to do a roundabout. The time he gets to the quarterback, the ball's gone. So the tackle's doing their job on the other team. He's not doing his job. And one thing I've said since day one is the one thing that I think he lacks is the bull rush. And in all these instances, the bull rush is what he needs. He needs to add it to his repertoire. Hate that word. But anyway, you know what I mean. He's got to do something. Whether it's Wink Martindale's system, it doesn't matter. When you have the chance to get to the quarterback and you're not getting to him, that's a you issue. That's not a coach issue. That's not a play issue. And again, too many times I have seen him push on guys and try to get the speed, but they're pushing off of him so much because he lacks the strength to stay firm at where he's at or push forward, aka bull rush, that he's just being thrown to the outside like a rag doll. And again, by the time he gets to the quarterback has already taken off or he's thrown the ball already. Ojulari, as much as I'm aggravated with him being out, because he can get to the quarterback. Actually, Jaden just said that. But again, the key thing with Ojulari is he can't stay healthy. He just can't stay healthy, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I, for one, anybody that's ever followed me, anybody that knows me in these chats and these Facebook pages, ever, I wanted Ojulari in the first round. Thank God we didn't get him there. But I wanted him in the first round. I knew we needed a linebacker. I knew we needed someone that can rush the passer. And when he's healthy, keyword, as always, when he's healthy, he's that guy. He's definitely that guy. He can make moves. He can bull rush. He has speed. But the problem remains. His chicken legs get him hurt all the time. There was a video out there. I don't know if it was doctored up a little bit or not, but it showed his calves compared to Joe Shane. And Joe Shane's calves looked a little bigger than his, bigger than Ojulari's. I'm going to send out the link, guys. I'll put the link up. If you want to come in on the show, join, have some questions, have some comments. I'm all for it. So let me get it out right now. It will go up on all my platforms. Everything that can see this right now, it's the link is going up there. So if you guys want to join the show, man, you're more than welcome. I appreciate it. I love all you guys, whether you're a hater, whether you're a troll, whether you're genuinely interested. I know Jaden comes in here, Daryl comes in here. You know, we have legit conversations. There are definitely other people that come in here. You know, if you don't want to get involved video wise, you can get in the chat. But yeah, it's clearly up to you guys. And again, I do enjoy speaking to you guys and just having a nice rapport. With that being said, our first guest tonight is my man Daryl, who always supports me, and I appreciate him to the utmost. Daryl, what's going on, bro?
Not much. How you doing, Ed?
Good, man. I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. A lot of things to uncover. Where do I start?
Where do you want to start? Because there's a lot.
Yeah, I know. Well, the main issue is the same issue. Me personally, I don't see it as much as you guys do, but the problem is the O-line to me. I don't think so. Pretty much so. Of Daniel Jones, I don't think it's him. I just don't.
I kind of agree with you because again, when he does have the time and it's consistent over and over again, because again, a lot of people don't understand that when a quarterback is running for his life more than he's not, he's got the jitters when he's not, because he doesn't know how well his line's going to hold up. And that's why the line is so important. And that's why the line takes up a lot of the, the blame in these situations.
Well, I tell you, something, I'm more of an old school guy,
So am I.
I'm more of an 80s baby.
Mm-hmm.
And from, back in my day, we used to build a team from the inside out.
Right.
Nowadays, coaches want to build a team from the outside in.
Correct.
Why are you going to build from the outside in if you don't have no offensive, defensive line?
See, that's why teams out there like the Cowboys, like the Eagles, like even Washington has a decent offensive line. And that's why these guys make the moves they make, because they know that the backbone, the concrete piece, the foundation of any offense is the O-line.
Even when Eli won those 2 championships, we had a decent line.
Yeah, and we're not asking for an all-star line. We're just looking for a line that can hold its own.
And Kayvon Thibodeau, I think you're right about that. I think he needs to learn how to do the bull rush.
Yeah, he's definitely lacking that power move.
Because when he tries to go all the way around the edge of the what is it? The right tackle or the left right tackle or the left tackle, wherever side he's lined up on.
Right.
He tries to go all the way around to beat the guy. Now he does get a lot of strips off of that, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work all the time.
He's got to take these quarterbacks down.
Not only, I mean, hell, and I'm trying to teach my son this right now. If you beat that tackle off that line, you just push his ass over.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the hand movement too, because with his speed. So I played offensive line. So here's my thing. If you're coming up the field and you got a defender in front of you, and clearly that defender's job is to keep you away from the quarterback. So he's going to push you outside. So when he throws his hands out, that's why he does the line, defensive linemen and even the linebackers. If you watch them during training camp and you watch them doing drills, they do the drill where their arm comes up, because literally what happens is in a situation like that, the offensive tackle or the offensive guard is trying to put their hands on you to keep you away from the quarterback. So when they do this, you bring up your arms, it pushes them to the side, and then you throw them. That's where he's lacking that power. It's not just to push the guy into the quarterback. Even getting around him to the point to where you're not going all the way around him is an issue with Kayvon. And we have seen sparks of really good play from him. The problem is it's not, when we need it, it's not there.
That's right. And, on this website that me and you are on, the All Giants Family fan page, I see all this hate because of Daniel Jones. Okay, he missed two deep passes to Jalen Hyatt.
Right.
You can't throw the ball down the field when you don't have no pass protection. Do you know that at the end of that game with San Francisco, them guys on the defensive side of San Francisco said that when they looked at Daniel Jones, he was scared to throw the ball down the field?
And I, a lot of people want to take that as, them taking a shot at Daniel Jones. First of all, when you beat a guy because he's scared, in my opinion, that's not taking a shot at him. That's basically saying what a lot of us fans already understand. It's your offensive line sucks. Your quarterback should not be scared back there. People want to bring up Daniel Jones's his college record. I believe it was 16 wins, 18 losses. Listen, you could bring up all that past stuff all you want. What he's doing right now is what matters. And right now, he's running for his life constantly. When he gets a little bit of time, he shows he can be the guy. The problem is he's spending more of that time. So I would say it's 25-75. 75% of the time, he's running for his life. The other 25% of the time, like in the fourth quarter or the second half of that Cardinals game, we saw a better Daniel Jones. Now, everybody that hates on Daniel Jones is going to sit there and go, well, it was the worst team in the NFL and the Cardinals. It was this, it was that. Cardinals aren't that great. They're playing with a third-string quarterback. All that stuff is great. But now we can take this into consideration. Number one, they kicked our asses for 2 quarters in that game. What the Giants did is miraculous. You can't sit here and tell me as a fan of any team that you thought the Giants were coming back from that game. And then you want to add on to it and tell me how bad the Cardinals are? They just beat the Cowboys. But you're going to sit here and tell me how bad the Giants are, or how bad, not the Giants, how bad the Cardinals are and how they're the worst team in the NFL. Well, and this is my opinion. And again, I love my Giants, but I'm not biased. I do think the Eagles are going to win this division again, and I think the Cowboys are going to be second. Unless the Giants figure out a way to step up and change whatever's going on that's wrong for us, I got a feeling this is what we're going to see the rest of the year. We're going to win a couple games. In my opinion, if we stay like we are now, I see the Giants winning maybe 4 games.
He don't have them fired up as he did last year. He don't have them fired up.
No, I think part of it is too is, and I compared this a couple weeks ago. You get the Giants from last year. Whenever somebody did something bad, the minute they came to the sideline, Daboll was right in their faces, making them accountable.
Yeah,
he doesn't do that now. It seems like at least they don't put the camera on him when if he does do it, but you don't see it. You normally, even if they didn't have the camera on him, you see it. You go to the sideline, he's back on the sideline. His face is still kind of red. You can still see the anger in his face. It hasn't been like that these first 3 weeks at all. So it's a little concerning. Is he really calling these guys out? Is he waiting for halftime? Is he waiting for after the game? Like, in my opinion, that's close to what Joe Judge did. The difference is, and the difference I think can be that we saw in that Cardinals game that at halftime, he clearly said something that resonated with those guys. And they came back and won.
He said something to him. He said something to him.
Yeah, and that goes into my point that, and I bring it back to Joe Judge. Joe Judge's answer was the same every week. And I'm talking from week 1 to week 17. His answer was, well, we got to look at the tape and then we'll fix it from there. The problem is he looked at tape all year and they didn't fix nothing. I do believe that Daboll isn't that guy, but he doesn't look like the same coach he was last year. And again, it also goes to, are people starting to get familiar with Wink's system? Or is Kafka really, or is Daboll really calling the offensive plays now? Like, they're not going to answer any of these things.
You can tell. Now, I'm glad you said that about Daboll, because, I mean, if you take a look at the second half of the Cardinal game, from the second half of the Cardinal game to the first game and the third game, you could tell the play calling was a whole lot different. You can just tell. And something makes me believe that he was calling the plays last year.
It's possible. And again, a lot of people will say, and I think this to me is funny. People go, well, he dumbed it down for Daniel Jones. No, I don't care if he dumbed it down. People don't understand that. Even if he dumbed it down, if that's what you want to call it, he found a spot where Daniel Jones got into a rhythm. Saquon Barkley was there. People seem to forget that this is a better team with Saquon. So you put Saquon there. See, that's the other thing. We got to have all these guys on the field at the same time. We got defensive guys getting hurt, which is killing us. We got offensive guys getting hurt, which is killing us. Saquon and Daniel Jones feed off of each other. I don't know how many people see that. And if you don't see it by now, you got to look.
And one thing that's really upsetting me right now, these guys got to learn how to tackle.
That's why I couldn't stomach to watch Adoree Jackson's interview this week. It's like, because he's the one, him and McKinney are the two that should be screaming at these guys. Like, I'm so tired of the shoulder tackles. I'm so tired of trying to bump the guy out. I mean, the Cardinals did it to Daniel Jones 2 weeks ago when Daniel was running towards the sideline and they decided to let him go and he freaking ran for another 8 yards. Like, stop trying to freaking push these guys out of bounds. You tackle them. You don't have to do anything illegal. You wrap them up. That's how tackling really is. It's not about putting your head down and slamming your shoulder into their chest or whatever, which is perfectly legal, as long as you don't hit them with the helmet first. And then you wrap these guys up. If you wrap them up, chances are you're either slowing them down so someone else can get there to help you, or you're tripping them up, or you just plain out tackle these guys. When you don't wrap people up, the person running the ball, whether it's a running back, a tight end, and then more so in these days, the way freaking wide receivers are like ping pong balls or pinballs, they bounce off these guys, and the shoulder, if anything, helps them keep their balance sometimes. That and the other thing I cannot stand, like, I understand if it's the only way you're going to get a player down to do this, but my God, it's all over the NFL. So it's not, strictly for our team. It's all over the NFL. You see these guys running the ball. You see them, it's like third or fourth and like 1 or 2 yards. And then you see the defensive line holding them up. And then all of a sudden you see one of the safeties or a guy from the other side come behind them and tackle this guy into the first down. Can we stop that? Can somebody stop that? You're supposed to send them the other way, not where the first down is.
Not push them to the first down marker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you see it all the time. It's like I don't know, like if guys say anything about it, it's so ridiculous, and it's got to be aggravating to those guys. Even the guy, and again, a lot of times when those guys make that play, even though it was a first down, again, you got guys that are losing by I don't know however many points, whether it's 1 point or 50 points, they're losing and they get up like it's the biggest play they made of their lives. Like win the game and brag.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like these guys are not playing with no sense of urgency like they were.
No, and every game should be played like that. Every game.
And the reason why I say look at the tapes, you can tell. Me personally, honestly, I think Kafka's offense, the way he's calling the game plan, how he's calling the plays. Honestly, I just don't believe it's working. I just don't.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you on that. But again, I don't think he's calling all the plays. I think he's calling plays, but he's calling them down to the coach. And if the coach doesn't like them, he'll change them. If he likes them, he'll send them out. So I've always said that I think it's a mixture of the offensive coordinator and the coach. Because let's face facts here. Dable's an offensive guy. So he's going to want some kind of input. So I think that's how that's happening. I don't know who this is. And again, I'm sorry, guys. So there's a lot of times, meaning Daniel Jones, he has time. He just can't throw the ball more than 10 yards. Okay, so I'm going to disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. First play in the second half against Arizona, he threw the ball, and it got down to Jalen Hyatt. Here's the issue I had with that throw. It was underthrown a little bit. So if that's what you're talking about, he underthrows guys, then fine. But to sit here and tell me he can't throw past 10 yards, no. What happens is
he threw a 64-yard bomb a week ago.
No, I know, but here's my thing. So we let's face facts here. We want the Giants to be exciting. We want them to throw the ball to Jalen Hyatt down the field. That's fine. A couple things have to happen with that. Number one, he has to get open. Number two, our offensive line has to give him enough time to set. And number three, his guys that play underneath, their job is to get 10 yards. They want to get the first downs because first downs keep the ball going forward. And unfortunately for the Giants, they don't get a lot of opportunities to throw the ball downfield. So that's why they're doing these little 10-yard hitches and these 10-yard curls and, the 10-yard crosses or 5-yard crosses or whatever it is. Because moving the ball forward is better than standing there. And when you don't have something open, you don't have time to get your reads in because your offensive line isn't necessarily blocking the way they should. So you can't go through your progressions all the time. So you're having to make the check down. You're having to make that guy that's, pretty much going to be open, or that guy that's 2 yards, 3 yards downfield that they're not really too worried about. You got to get those because, again, it is so much easier to get a couple yards than to throw the ball downfield for an incompletion or even an interception and get no yards. So we got to think of that as fans because, again, like, don't get me wrong, I get pissed off at Daniel Jones. However, he's our quarterback. End of story. And if you're one of the fans out here that roots for him to lose, then you're not a fan because you're rooting for our team to lose. And if that's what you're doing, you are not a fan. That's just the way it is. So, hey, Daryl, I got a couple more people in the backstage, man. Any final thoughts about this week?
Yeah.
What do you got?
They have to execute, man. Execute. That's it. Just execute, man.
Yeah, I'll be at that game Monday night.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, my buddy, his daughter's boyfriend's father is a Giant season ticket holder, and whenever he can't go to games, he gives us the tickets. So we're going to the Monday night game.
And it's at MetLife, huh?
Yep, and they're good seats too. They're right by the stairs, so you go to concessions. You don't have to wait in a long line. Then you come back to your seat, and it's right there. Beautiful seats.
Well, I hope you enjoy, Ant. We'll catch you on next Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
All right, brother. You have a good rest of your week, man. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, Ant. You too, brother.
All right, later, man. That was Daryl. Let's bring in Jaden. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, Ant?
How you feeling?
tired.
How's school going?
It's definitely going.
Yeah, it did take you a little bit to get used to.
Yeah, you can tell me that twice.
Yeah,
The transition is hitting me like a 18-wheeler.
yeah, I hear you. I'm with you there, man. I
And
totally agree.
it mostly has to deal with because when I was in high school, it was COVID, like the
Mhm.
COVID years. So I really didn't experience high school except for freshman and then senior year. Op- I opted out, not opted out, but like I opted for online in junior year.
Okay,
So yeah, I made 2 years of high school really.
there you go. That's
But
good then, man. I
that, like
mean,
that's why that wasn't enough to then get used to college. You know what I mean? So that's where
yeah,
it's even harder.
yeah. You
But
can't really be in it till you're actually in it. But I get it. It's kind of like preparation. Yeah, I understand it. So, what do you got, man? What do you think about this week? What do you think about what's going on with the, Kayvon, Barkley? I do believe Andrew Thomas is supposed to be back this week. Bredesen's supposed to be back this week. According to Dable's interview the other day, which we'll be doing another one tomorrow. But the other day, McKeon, I think his name is going to be starting again. I think he definitely looks better than Bredesen, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, yeah, I know. I just want a really good offensive line again, like we had back when Super Bowl runs and stuff like that. I just really that's where obviously that's where you start to win games, is the line of scrimmage, and you gotta have a good offensive line. I know we have a good D line. We just have to execute and play to our strengths and all the
I
stuff.
think I think our D line is underperforming. And the reason I'm saying that is we went out and we signed a bunch of really good defensive linemen to go with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. My issue is that, for example, let's take the Eagles last year. Their backups could have been starters on any other team in the league. The guys we signed in the off season to build depth, those guys were supposed to have been like that, and I'm not seeing it. We're getting run. Other teams are running down the middle like some of these guys ain't even there. And then even when Dexter Lawrence makes a tackle or gets a tackle for a loss or a sack, he almost looks aggravated. Like, why do I have to be the only one?
No, yeah, it's I don't know, and then obviously don't get me started on the Z's. Just I don't. Oh my God.
Nobody's, you know me, nobody's more disappointed in him than me.
Right.
I mean, I literally just sold my Azeez Ojulari jersey last week. That's how upset I am with that whole situation. I actually can't believe somebody wanted to buy it.
Wait, would you sell it for any like price wise? Would you?
I keep my stuff like mint. So I believe I sold it for 60.
That's not bad at
It's
all.
not
Yeah.
bad. It's not bad. I mean, obviously it's not what I paid for, but it's not bad. I try to be fair with people. I don't try to rob people for their money. It's just not who I am.
Right. No, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, on Facebook, if anybody's checking it out, I did put up some hats on one or a couple of the pages. I think I'm trying to put them up on all the pages. There's some hats that I did wear, and I'll give you a good worn price. But they are, again, I keep them in mint shape. Mint shape. I do have a spray that if you spray the inside of the hat here, it prevents the hat from getting any kind of stains and bad smells to it. So again, my hats, I keep them legit. So where people collect sneakers, I'm a hat head. I mean, they're all over the house. That's why I'm trying to get rid of them, because my wife is aggravated. I mean, I got this one. I got I think I just put up like 10 of them to sell, and I probably still have like 20 to 30 more. And it would have been a lot more, but every couple of years, my wife makes me sell the ones I don't wear because I order. But yeah, I try to get rid of them.
Yeah, I want to get like a belt though, and the sneaking advertisers, but like they're $200 each, and I'm just or whatever.
They're not cheap. They're not cheap.
I understand, like they're like real, like they're like WWE belts, like the real life things, just football. And I'm just like, bro, it's too much money for just one, and it's like I want one so bad. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. And if it, I live paycheck to paycheck, and I do try to live within my means. And if there's extra money there, and I can spend it on something like that, then I'll go get one. Right now, I'm not in that set. I'm making ends meet right now.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those belts are definitely a little expensive, and I wouldn't ask my family for something like that because again, it's super expensive. I mean, like I said, last year the whole family chipped in to get me, a MacBook Pro so I can do the show for you guys, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So what else you got? Let's talk about them Giants, man. What do we got to do this week other than win?
Who we playing this? Well, Seahawks, right? Monday.
Yeah, Monday night. I'll be at that game if you didn't hear it.
Dude, I have friends that are Seahawks fans too. It's oh my dude. So like this, Geno Smith obviously is going to be playing a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know how he is with teams that let him go and stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously bring pressure to Geno.
Right.
We have to contain Lockett, DK. Because Lockett is underrated as hell.
I think that Deontay Banks has been doing really good playing man with a lot of these guys. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him play DK man a couple times. I think that would definitely be interested.
Yeah, that's gonna be I hope he can do pretty good against them. And then, but obviously, stop the run because we have Kenneth Walker, and then they got that rookie Charbonnet that hasn't been doing like great. He's a rookie, but and he's like the running back too. But still, Kenneth Walker is like I think like the fastest running back, or at least top.
I liked Kenneth Walker coming out of Michigan State. I loved him. I thought he was great. I would have, and I'm a big, huge Michigan fan, but watching him play, the dude is tough, man. I like watching him play.
Yeah, definitely, and he's like I want to say he's like one of the fastest. I don't know if he's the fastest, but I'm pretty sure he's he's obviously definitely one of the fastest.
Probably up there. We didn't talk much about this probably because he's not a Giant, but one of my favorite running backs in the league has been for a few years now, Nick Chubb. I was so upset to see him go down the way he did.
Oh yeah, I had him in fantasy, so I was.
He's been one of those guys that so this year I'm in 2 fantasy leagues. They're not money leagues, so I'm in them, but I'm not in them. Like I'll keep track of stuff. I didn't do the draft. I let the computer draft for me. But when I do draft, Nick Chubb is always one of the first running backs on my mind because he does get hurt, but when he's hurt, he's not hurt for a long time. And he still comes back and produces right away. So he was never an issue for me. He's always been a consistent the last few years, when drafting a running back in fantasy league. But something this year, other than the fact that I didn't really pick this year, I let the computer do it. I had thought about that. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay away from Chubb this year. And I don't know why, gut feeling, call it whatever you want. But I'm glad I didn't pick because I probably would have ended up picking him anyway.
Yeah, I know. In my money league, but in my money league, I got he's. I don't think he's not out for too long. I think, but Austin Eckler, I have.
I mean, we could get into the running back thing too with Saquon and Josh Jacobs and everything because with Saquon getting hurt, this could possibly hurt his incentives at the end of the year. Josh Jacobs, I don't know what his contract looked like, but he's not running that well.
Right.
So, are these guys hurting themselves even more with not taking those, those paychecks that they were offered? I mean, I got a feeling for the running backs, man. If they thought this past offseason was bad, I think it's going to be ugly next offseason.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy with Saquon, and it's just like it goes to show why Joe Shane did not, break the bank and everything on that, and why obviously most teams didn't break the bank, of course.
Well, that's the other thing too, because we're still trying to deal with Dave Gettleman's cap hits. Like we're still getting hit with those things.
Do you know how long it is? Like,
I think I want to say after this year. I don't know if it's at the end of this season or if it's after Williams either gets re-signed or released, that a lot of that money will come off the cap. Because right now, this year, we're getting hit with cap from Williams. I I think we're still getting hit with a little bit of money. I know they bought out Kenny Galladay. How much I don't know, but I'm sure that the cap money there that we're still getting hit for is there's something there. There's got to be something there. I think Adoree Jackson we're taking a little bit of a cap hit. But again, it goes back to, if you want to talk about it, the Leonard Williams thing in the offseason, at the end of the season last year, they asked him, would you take a cap hit? And he goes, well, I could probably do that, but it's something we have to talk about. Either A, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll didn't want to talk about it because they don't care. They don't think they're bringing him back, or he never offered, or they asked and he didn't. And he said, I don't think I should do that. So I truly think if he did, we probably have somebody else signed, or maybe an even bigger name at one of these position spots of need.
Right. Yeah, I feel like obviously if he wanted to, he would have done it already too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with, if they let Williams go, the cap hit, it's gone after this year regardless. So that'll definitely open up a lot more money for the Giants. But like, who are the names? I got to look it up, but I'll have it ready for next show. Who do you know that any of the names that are free agents after this year? Like, as far as like D line or even O line for that matter.
Isn't Adoree?
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's one of the guys they're not. I don't mean on our team. I mean guys we can potentially go after.
Oh, I see. Now I would have to look as well now.
Yeah, I'll look that up and see if I can get some stats out of that.
I thought you meant like on our team. I was going to say, I think Adoree.
Yeah, Adoree could be gone. Most likely will. Leonard Williams most likely will be gone. I do believe, unless he like totally tanks this year and sucks ass, I do see them re-signing McKinney, because McKinney's in a contract year. Trying to think of who else. They already signed Andrew Thomas. Graham Gano was signed already. They're going to want to throw something at Saquon, so I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of money spent there. Again, if they can sign him. My gut feeling is that Saquon's not going to be here this next year. I really, truly believe that he's not going to be here this year. Really? This coming year. I think the Giants are either going to franchise tag him or offer him a little bit more than the franchise tag. I really don't see the Giants bringing him in at any kind of high price. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't, because if I don't know what the cap is going to look for running backs next year, or the ceiling for running backs next year, but I can't imagine it's going to be much more than it is this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit more. I think actually, I do think they said it was $10 million this year. I think it's $12 million next year. So, I mean, if they offer him 13 and he says no, I think the Giants are going to go, then, you can test the market. We appreciate you. If you want to come back, what the deal is. If you can get a better deal, God bless you, that kind of thing. But my gut is telling me that Saquon won't be back next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we'll know more about that too at the end of the season, because if we see guys like Gray, Brightwell, with more carries at the end of the season than say Saquon, then that's a sign. It's also another sign that they bring in these guys to do that. It's also basically letting Saquon know that, you're not going to end up getting your incentives because you're not going to reach all those goals. Because again, let's talk about that. I brought it up a couple times. So Saquon's stipulation is he's basically getting, I think it's a little bit more than the tag, because I think the tag was 10.1. I think they gave him 11 with incentives to make almost 12 million. The incentives, I think, came to $990,000, but the incentives all had stipulations. The incentives were, I think he had to have over 1,150 yards carrying. I think he had to have, I want to say,
was it 10 touchdowns?
It was 11 touchdowns.
11, okay.
11 touchdowns. And I think there was another receiving a few hundred yards. I think it was like 400 or 500 yards receiving.
Right.
But again, all of those incentives, even if he reaches those marks,
make the playoffs. Yeah.
That's the thing. If they make the playoffs and he reaches those incentives, he'll get that money. If they don't make the playoffs and he reaches those incentives, he won't get a penny of it, any of it.
That's so greedy looking into it, but it's
it is. But that's the way that the running back game was this year. Like, you're letting the guy know, listen, we can put some incentives in there, and basically they put it in his court. Like, you can make the incentives, but A, you have to stay healthy, and B, you have to ball out. He already proved that he can't stay healthy. I mean, again, accidents are accidents. Injuries are injuries. They're going to happen. It's not like he's trying to make them happen. I get that. But the fact remains that the guy, pretty much with the exception of last year and his rookie year, is accident prone or injury prone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult situation with Barkley.
Robert says it was only 11 million, no higher. So I think it was a little more than 11 with the incentives. I think that the contract itself might have been no more than 11, but I think that the incentives had potential to be around, if not 12 million. But again, you're not wrong. So, and they paid Josh Jacobs 12 million this year. I mean, it is the Raiders, but yeah, but I mean, again, and he brings up, let's go into that a little bit. The Kayvon situation. What do you think about that?
Kayvon needs to. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I know some people say I don't see it too much, ish, but what he gives up on plays. Some people have been saying.
Right.
I mean,
it's his fault. It's his fault to the point to where I don't think it's Wink's play calling, because again, you see the guy get upfield upfield and then fucking, excuse my language, almost get to the quarterback. The problem is he has no power. There's no power there. He can't bull rush anybody, and that's the piece of his game he needs to work on. I mean, again, this is what kills me, because I see all these reports and they put in these really sad looking pictures of frustration on Kayvon's face. First of all, we don't know when that picture was taken. It could have been taken on the practice field, and he farted and little doo-doo was in his face. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's if that's how he really feels about the situation, then regardless of how he looks at it, it's still a him issue. It's not Wink's issue, because again, even in the system, you still see Kayvon getting upfield, getting near the quarterback. The problem is he's not getting to the quarterback, and that's because he lacks the bull rush.
Yeah,
lacks the power.
I feel like the biggest question with the Giants is I know I don't want to talk about schedule and stuff, because I don't want, but cause I know obviously our schedule was a little easier than it is compared to this year, of course, but I just I feel like there's two different energy vibes from the Giants from last year to this year. The amount of energy that was put into the team, even though we were facing easier teams, you can say. And obviously we faced the Cowboys, Niners, and then obviously we had the Cardinals week 2. Two top, playoff teams, whatever. Well, Cowboys, of course, but you know what I mean. I don't know. It just still feels like they're not putting as much effort.
I mean, again, not giving the Giants an out here, but the point I'm trying to make is, yes, we do have the the third toughest schedule in the league, but the fact of the matter is I'm not the kind of guy that's going to sit here and go, oh man, we got the third hardest schedule in the league, we can't win nothing. I'm not that guy. I'm gonna go out there and prove that you belong with these guys. And right now, they're just not doing it.
Right. I mean, because I'm the same way. Because we obviously got better. I hate the word on paper too, but we got better, of course. On as of on paper, we added pieces, and stuff like that. So we should be better than we were last year.
Right.
So even if it's only by one game, maybe in the off season I said we were going 10-7. That was my honest prediction.
Yeah, Robert makes a good point. O-line needs more pieces at guard. Absolutely. 100%. We can even use some more depth at tackle. Not saying our tackles are horrible, but it doesn't hurt to have depth, especially on that O-line.
Yeah.
We know how important it is if one person gets hurt, There's a reason a lot of these guys are second stringers and third stringers. They're literally there just to back up if the starters get hurt. And right now we got guys getting hurt. Darryl, I see you. Jaden, stay right here. I'm not going to take you off. I'm going to leave you on, but it looks like Darryl has something to say because he hopped back in. Darryl, you there? Daryl, can you hear me? All right. Maybe it's one of those glitches that StreamYard has from time to time, because I know Sneaky goes through this every now and then. Yeah. So I mean, what are your predictions for this week? What are your predictions for Monday night?
All right. So did you check Vegas? What they have?
What do you mean?
Or like for I don't know if, like for score prediction or over under. I was gonna like try to
No,
base.
just like what are do
All
you think
right.
you're gonna win?
No, all right.
Score's
I just
gonna
wasn't
be?
sure. I wasn't sure. Wasn't sure if you had it or
No,
not.
you're good.
All right. Let's see. Score. I really hate doing this. So the Seahawks, I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure. What is it? I think they average, was it 30 points per game? Is it?
Last 2 weeks they had 37 points.
All right. So Seahawks. Seahawks 27. Giants 17. Like, and I until I can see the Giants have that spark in them where like I could like you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. That's a perfect prediction. I think but here's the difference. I think the Giants are going to find a way to pull this one out.
I hope so too.
I'm not a very superstitious person, but if I'm keeping record, every game I think I've ever been to, the Giants have won, with the exception of the one I went to in Philly.
Yeah. The Philly. Yeah,
So I'm hoping to keep the streak going, and we get a nice win this week. I just hope we can improve at all aspects of the game. Like, Evan Neal. We haven't talked about Evan Neal this episode, but Evan Neal, I'm starting to like lean away from him, man. I know it's his second year, and I know he's got to clean stuff up, but I still think he has time. But I mean, if by the end of the season he hasn't cleaned up his act, I'm not going to call him an Eric Flowers, but the shoe fits.
Yeah, like I know, like you mentioned, like too, what he's using a new technique you said or something like that.
Yeah,
but also I feel like he had the preseason, which I know limit, which I think he played the full games, right?
Yeah, I think he played at least one or two of them.
Yeah, and I mean you had the preseason, you obviously you have practice, and I just don't know how long it's like if he's a slow learner when it comes to this and just.
I mean, based on what I know from him out of Alabama, he seems to be a pretty quick learner. I mean, he's played multiple positions on that offensive line, and I don't know why the position that's supposed to be his favorite spot or his spot that he's best at, why it's such an issue for him.
I always see this on Facebook. I don't know if you agree with it. You think eventually we should change him to guard and see how it goes?
I think that's what they're trying to do right now, if I'm being honest. I think that's what they're trying to do now, based on the fact that Dayball said, as of yesterday, he's going to keep some of the guys in that he had in last week, even though we got guys coming back from the injured list.
Yeah,
so I'm guessing he saw some things he likes. And again, if you're constantly moving offensive pieces, you're never going to find any kind of continuity or any kind of camaraderie or any consistency. You gotta, unfortunately, you gotta let these guys play for a couple games in a row. And I don't mean two, I mean like 3 or 4 games in a row. When you're constantly changing pieces. And again, it's just not just because guys ain't playing great, but when you got guys that are getting hurt, unfortunately, some of the guys that ain't playing up to par have to play regardless. So there's a lot of stuff going on with interchangeable offensive line. And, again, our defensive, backups aren't stepping up when they come in. In fact, I think the only saving grace of this team is the defensive secondary. Even the linebackers have been decent, not great, but decent. But the corners have been doing a fairly significant job. Again, with the exception of the tackling, when balls are going downfield, I think they're doing a really good job. I don't see them being crap.
Yeah,
we need to get our offensive line going.
Right, that was like one of the biggest questions, like two rookie corners on the outside and stuff like that.
Yeah, Mike, I'm going to get you in here before the end of the show, bud. I'll probably give you like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, with the 2 rookie corners on the outside, I know that was like one of the biggest questions, and like whatever, are they going to perform well? But
Right.
obviously, besides the tackling, which needs to they need to wrap up when they need to wrap up, but
It's just, and Daryl said it earlier. We come from a different time where football fundamentals, and they should still be the same way, and they're not. Football fundamentals were wrap the guy up, make sure he goes down, and it's slowly progressed. That's why I say, and I say it as a joke, but each year something gets worse and worse and worse as far as rules, as far as the way these guys tackle. I'm literally waiting for the flags to start coming out. And I don't mean penalty flags. I mean, instead of tackling, flag football is what we're going to see.
I really hate, I can understand the penalty, but how strict it is, the roughing the passer.
That one roughing the passer that Leonard Williams had last week was garbage. It was such garbage. If he hit him late, yes. Did he put his weight on him? Barely. And he rolled to the side as they were going down. So clearly He wasn't trying to put his weight on him. So the call was personal foul, roughing the passer. Where was he roughing him? It was a legit wrap-up tackle, and he just happened to fall on top of him doing it. That's why I don't like the plays where they go, you blame the defense for helmet to helmet. Well, how many times does the offensive player put his head down? Running backs and quarterbacks do it consistently, especially quarterbacks when they're trying to get that extra yard. They're putting their heads down. Why isn't the penalty going towards the offense as well? Because I've seen plenty of times where guys on the defense don't want to get the penalty, so they'll try to stand up and tackle these guys, and they get a freaking a crown of offensive player's head in the chest. Why is there no penalty called? It should be the same on both sides of the ball. You can call a defensive pass interference. You can call offensive pass interference. You can call defensive holding. You can call an offensive holding. Why can't you call a personal foul on a running back or a quarterback or even a wide receiver who puts his head down to get that extra yard and hits the defensive player in the chest or even in his helmet? And that's what pisses me off, because it's so offensively biased when it comes to the NFL that's why you see the offensive guys getting more penalties than not. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I was in the bathroom or I was doing something. I never what Trent Williams did punch the guy. What was that about?
All right. So Trent Williams, where was I at? I was at my buddy's house. I'm watching that game, and I think it was Ashawn Robinson got up, and they were pushing each other a little bit, and then. Just as I'm saying, it was coming out of my mouth. I'm like, Trent Williams is a dirty player anyway. That's when the punch came. And it just totally co-signed exactly what I just got done saying. He's a dirty player, and he tries to get away with it where he can. The problem is he gets caught more times than he don't. Trent Williams is definitely a guy that can be one of those great linemen, but because he's a dirty ass player, and that I'm calling it what it is. He's dirty. Then it puts a stain on the game. It really does. Guys like him, after doing that so many times, they literally should be thrown out or banned or suspended for a couple games without pay. But I mean, sometimes you see that. But they're going to probably hit him on the wrist. He'll probably get a slap on the wrist for throwing that punch.
Did anyone back him up or back the who got punched or Ashawn?
No, Ashawn. So this is the other thing. I guess Ashawn knew what was going on because it looked like he was baiting him a little bit. If you watch the video over, after the little pushing started, right before the punch came, you can see Ashawn saying something to him. And I could see Ashawn saying something to him to get him to take that swing. And when he took the swing, it was almost like Ashawn knew it was coming and immediately turned to the refs and was like, "What the hell?" So, it's both ways. It's both ways. But again, Trent Williams being who he is, and again, he's a good good offensive lineman. He sometimes, if you get under his skin, he'll resort to stupid stuff. So, Jaden, hey man, with that, I appreciate you coming on. I want to get Mike in here for the last 5 minutes because I know he probably wants to talk about his Eagles. McNugget, I see you in here. What's going on, girl? How's everything going? I hope you're healthy. I hope everything's good. Any word yet about, what's going on with you? I don't know if you want to talk about it in here or not. If not, I'm cool with that. But yeah, make sure you keep us all posted, man. We're praying for you. Any final thoughts, Jaden?
I mean, not really. I want to see us win, especially because I have Seahawks friends.
Right.
I don't want them talking shit.
So McNugget says MRI October 15th. We'll keep the prayers in for you. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, something easy to get in and out of. So we're definitely going to keep the prayers coming for you.
But yeah, other than that, I just want to see us win, so I don't have to deal with my friends talking shit, and also just because I want to see my team win, of course.
Yeah, I've gotten so used to people talking shit about the Giants in the last 6-7 years that it's like numbing right now. I don't even care.
Yeah.
All right, Jaden. I'll let you go, bud. I'll talk to you Wednesday night, or if you need me during the week, you know where to reach me at. But I'll talk to you soon, bud. All right.
All right. Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good night, bud.
Fuck those e-girls.
Yeah, I hear you.
What
Hello,
up, man?
Mike.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. I got a question to start off. What's with the Giants playing so many night games this year?
I don't know. I don't know who set up the schedule, but I knew this was happening. So the first 7 games of the Giants season, 5 of the first 7 games are all primetime games, which is not good for the Giants because we suck at primetime games.
Yeah, y'all aren't even a primetime team. Y'all aren't good enough to have that many primetime games.
Yep. So this will be our 3rd night game in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually going to that game Monday night.
Yeah. I heard you say that. I don't think y'all are going to win, to be honest, but
I think we will. I think this is probably one of the games that we definitely can win. It's just a matter of going out there and putting it on the field, man. And again, I'm a Giants fan through and through. Win, lose, or tie, Giants fan till I die. That's just the way it is. I'm sure you're the same way about the Eagles.
of course.
But the fact remains, if our boys don't get it together, it's going to be another long season.
Yeah.
And you guys look phenomenal. And the sad part about it is,
the thing is,
you guys haven't even
I don't think we
peaked
look.
yet.
Huh?
I said you guys look really good, and the sad part about it is, for the rest of the league, is you guys don't even look like you peaked yet.
Yeah, but I don't even think we've been that great. Like, yes, we're 3-0, but we haven't played like a B plus or a B game. Like I would grade our 3 games like B minus C. Like,
and that's fair. That's fair.
Like if I was going to give it a grade.
But you got to look at it this way: your B minus C is probably an A to a lot of other teams in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly playing at a B minus or a C is winning 3 games. So that's definitely something to be proud about.
Yeah. We got Washington this week at home, so
that'll be a good game. Division games are always good. Even if a team gets blown out, it sometimes, seems like a bigger game, and I think Washington has a good team. They just got to put it together. I don't think it's going to be this year. Maybe next year, but the Eagles are in a spot they're supposed to be in. I still think the Cowboys are good, even though they lost to Arizona last week. I think they'll shake that off, and then they'll come back this week and win. And the Giants, I don't know. That's the sad part as a Giants fan. I don't know what to expect from this team. I know what I want to expect. I just don't think I can yet.
Dude, you know what team's looking really good, and I think they could like legitimately make a shot at the Super Bowl. Surprisingly,
I mean, if I had to
Dolphins.
predict the Super Bowl teams right now, I'm going the same thing as last year: Kansas City and Philly.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And for everybody talking about the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing, let's talk about what it's really about. Travis Kelce is just dating her so that he can break her heart, so her whole next album's about him. End of story.
She'll write a song about him.
Well, it depends. Depends on how much in love they fall. Could end up being a whole album.
They could end up getting married.
That's true too. Hey, Mike, I'm going to let you go. I just want to make sure you got the last 5 minutes in here. I didn't want to be unfair to you. So hopefully I'll talk to you either tomorrow night if Sneaky's I thought he was going to have a show last night, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll either see you tomorrow night on his show, or if not, next week with him or me. I do appreciate you being here. I actually got an invite from Philly sports guy. I think something's going on this week in Philly. I forget what it was about. I want to promote it. So next week,
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's not this coming week. I think it's the week after, but I'll check. If we can get some funds raised for, the charity he's going with. And, I don't care who you're a fan, what team you're a fan of. If you're doing good work, you're doing good work. And Philly Sports Guy does a lot of good work.
Definitely.
So, all right, brother. Well, I'll let you go.
Well, if I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, but if I don't, you have a good time Monday night.
All right, man. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later. All right, guys, that's it. It's another good show. We had a few more people in here than we normally do, and a lot of them stayed for the whole show. So I guess I'm doing something right or making some good points in here. But again, next week, hey, I'm going to put the link out again. Tell your friends, tell your family, all the Giants fans. Even if you're not a Giants fan, feel free to tell your friends to come in here. We'll talk about their team. I'm not a wizard when it comes to other teams, but I have a lot of knowledge about the game itself and about other teams. I mean, obviously I know the teams that I hate, so we could talk about them a little bit. I just told an Eagles fan, I think the Eagles are going to win the division again this year. I literally said, even though the Cowboys lost last week, I still think they're going to be a strong team in this, in not only this division, but in the NFC. I call it like I see it. I'm a Giants fan, but I'm not a biased Giants fan. So for those of you that don't see me that often, don't come into this show, listen, I don't have a problem talking about other teams. In fact, I did want to talk a little bit about the Yankees tonight, and I'll end the show with that. So Hal Steinbrenner has said the same thing he said the last couple of years, which is there's some massive changes coming. Well, if his massive changes are like they've been in the past, nothing's coming. Nothing's going to change. So with that being said, Yankees, can we get better? Can we be better? As far as my Knicks, I think we're going to have a good season this year. Rumors are swirling around that James Dolan might sign the team. I hope he does. But whoever he sells it to, I hope they want to keep the Knicks in New York, which I wouldn't think anybody would want to take them out of New York. And the Rangers, man, hockey season's coming up. So I'm just as, passionate about my Rangers as I am and my Giants. My Giants are just a little above them, little. I've grown to be a super hockey fan over the last few years. So with that being said, guys, Monday night I'll be at the game. Hopefully we get a little camera time. Definitely going to see if I can talk to a couple of players, maybe get a couple guys, emails addressed so we can get them in here, do some interviews. I know when Tiki's not busy, he goes on to Stefan's show. Maybe I can get him on my show a little bit, talk about some stuff. Obviously, I don't want to ask the same questions that Stefan did. It's his show. I'll do my show. But again, I appreciate you all. I love the fact that you guys hung out with me tonight. I appreciate you guys in here all the time, man. It's just such a good atmosphere, good talks. And like I said, hopefully we get some more people in here to where we can go for 2 hours, guys. I'd love to do that. I really would. But again, I can only say so much with so many people, and we'll just take it week by week. So again, guys, I love you all. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the time. Robert, Daryl, Jaden, McNugget. I think Vince was in here. Ant was in here. I appreciate you all, guys. Till next week. Peace. If I can get it out of here. Oh, wait, here we go. You think I'd have this down by now. I'm still getting used to my Mac. All right, guys, have a good night.
Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Bass make my face hurt, shake break my brain work.